just take notice. How are you feeling this evening? We're checking in with ourselves mentally and physically. We do very little self-check-in. We're usually so worried about the outer world, our families, our friends, our co-workers, that we take little time in the day to just check in where we are. So we're noticing, is our mind fluttering about? Do we have lots of thoughts and to-dos? It's the beginning of the week, so you may have a list mentally. We're going to allow ourselves to put that off to the side. As we inhale and exhale through our nose, each and every one of those thoughts, to-dos are acknowledged and placed in the pile off to the side of our mat. Inhaling and exhaling. Just notice whether your bent knees or legs straight. Notice your connections in the mat, whether it be your heels, the soles of your feet, the backs of your knees, your tailbone, your sacrum. Notice which vertebra are resting in the mat. Take note where that curve is in our lumbar spine. Are our shoulder blades and outer back shoulders resting heavy, or are they rounded and hunched forward, lifting? We feel the back of our neck reaching toward the mat and the back of our head heavy. Noticing our breath pattern as we inhale and exhale through our nose. Is it shallow and short? We're becoming aware. So as you've taken all these notes, we want to start to now elongate that breath, make it slower. So that'll happen naturally throughout our practice, but just to start here at the beginning, we're going to find ourselves taking a 4-count inhale and take our natural pause, and then that same 4-count exhale. Take several more breaths like this. Each and every breath, we notice maybe more and more of our muscle fibers are letting go of tension. Our legs start to soften. Our sacrum becomes heavier in the mat. Maybe we feel another vertebra or two releasing down toward the mat. Our shoulders start to fall back, and our head rests a little heavier. We're just going to take a couple more rounds of this 4-count breath. And as we focus on those 4 counts in and out through our nose, we notice we have less and less to-dos and thoughts passing through our mind. We've been able to collect most of them off to the side in a pile. But any that creep in during your practice, just give them acknowledgement, knowing they're important, but also knowing this 1 hour for yourself is just as important. So let those fall into the pile off to the side of your mat. We'll take one last 4-count breath before we start to add a little movement. So if we had our legs extended, we're going to bring our knees into our chest and just gently rock side to side. I've reached and grabbed my strap, so we're going to stretch a little here with our quadriceps, hamstrings, inner and outer thighs before we work through our practice today. So I'm going to take my strap, find both of my knees bent, and I'm going to take my strap and loop it around the ball just below my toes on my right foot. I'm going to slide my hands all the way down to the floor so my shoulders are soft. I'm going to flex my right foot and extend it to the sky. And then I'm just going to point and flex. Work my ankle, my calf. You can have as big of a bend in your knee as you need until the leg stretches out. So one more time, point, and then we're going to keep our foot flexed. And we're just going to gently bring our toes toward our forehead. And again, if you have a bend, that's okay. We're working to get that leg straight. So if it's bent, work to just straighten and lift that heel to the sky before you bring your toes forward. Our shoulders are soft into the mat, our elbows are resting. And just keep that foot flexed, toes coming toward the forehead with each and every exhale. We keep that left leg bent. Use your breath. The exhale, that's the release. If your toes and come past your hip, just bring them back so your knee is directly above your hip. We're going to take our strap, slide it down in our right hand. So if you need to loop it around. And again, we can be using our hand just at the back of our thigh if we don't have a strap or a belt or even a towel. So we're going to rest this right elbow. We're going to take our left hand and extend it out. Flex this right foot, toes are down, and then we're going to slowly open it up to the right side. So only go as far as you can keep the left hip, left shoulder down on the mat, and it'll be a gradual easing in to this inner thigh stretch. And use your breath. We have to use the counterbalance of our left side, our core, to help us get into this inner thigh stretch. When you found your edge, just pause and breathe deeply. We keep those right toes flexed to keep this leg active. And we're taking our inhale and sending it to that right inner thigh. Our next inhale, we're going to bring this right leg back up to center. We're just going to point our toes toward our left shoulder. Take our strap now in our left hand, slide that elbow all the way to the floor. Then we're just going to bring these toes across our body and stretch out the outer edge of our leg, our IT band. Breathing deeply, and again, if you have a bend in your knee, that's okay. If you're using your hands, you just place them behind your calf, your thigh. One more deep breath here, and we're just going to bring it back to neutral. We'll bend the right leg, and we're just going to switch, so we'll place the right foot on the floor, take our strap or whatever we're using into the left, extend that left leg to the sky, slide our elbows down, and we're going to point and flex. Stretch out this left ankle. One One more time. Point and flex. And then feel the connection of the right foot, the elbows bracing us. As we exhale, bring the left toes toward our forehead again, keeping any kind of bend, but at least a micro bend. Keeping that left foot flexed, we'll feel that stretch in the back of our left calf. Use that exhale, and don't let your shoulders creep up toward your ears. The stretch is about just easing into it, not about getting to our edge right at the beginning, and maybe we don't even make it to our edge, because in restorative our edge is after we've held for 5-10 minutes. We're just trying to find a little stretch here to help us in some of our other restorative poses. We're going to take our strap and place it in our left hand. Take this right arm out to our side, and we're going to open up, keeping these left toes flexed, keeping our right hip, right shoulder, right hand face down. Toes now are coming up toward our ear. And again, ease into it. Feel that inner thigh stretch. If your right hip or right shoulder start to lift, just bring your left leg slightly up, reconnect, and then ease into it a little more. We're going to slowly bring our left leg back up. We're going to turn these left toes toward our right shoulder, take our strap in our right hand, find that elbow down, and then just exhale and bring those left toes up toward the right shoulder. We're going to bring it back to center. Bend our left leg, and we'll bring both knees into our chest and just gently rock side to side. We're going to take our arms out to our sides, knees over our hips, and just bring our knees to the left side, finding a double leg spinal twist, keeping that right shoulder down on the mat. We're going to inhale up to center, and then we'll slowly let them guide over toward our right side, keeping our left shoulder blade down. We're going to inhale back to center. We'll take our hands at our knees, gently rock side to side. And we're just going to roll either our right or left side into our fetal pose and just take a moment stacking our knees and just resting with this neutral spine on our side. We're going to take our top hand and just push ourselves up, and we're going to find our block. And I apologize, I didn't get you your block before we went down. And I'm going to come back supine. So I'm going to take my block here and I'm going to place it in the center. We're going to put a foot on it. So I'm going to take my left foot and place it on the block. So you want to have your block at the lowest level so you have enough space to put your foot on. We're going to bring our right knee into our chest and open it up for figure 4 here. We're going to take our hands out to our side. They can be palms down, or we can rotate our shoulders for palms up. And we're just going to find ourselves here in a supported figure 4. We're gently pressing into the left leg, the block, but we're not lifting anything off the mat. Just inhaling and exhaling and continue letting this right knee open up. You'll feel that stretch in the right side of our outer hip. So releasing tension from our hips allows us to just let go of all that excess, unwanted baggage. And that helps us mentally and physically focus on the importance of other things in our lives. So as we breathe in, just notice anything that's unwanted drop off that right outer hip. We're open our entire front body. So we're breathing freely into our belly. We may feel it rise and fall, feeling our intercostal muscles opening up. Listening to the rhythm of our breath. Breathing each and every inhale into that right outer hip. Each and every exhale drops one more item. It's like as we're pulling our suitcase through the airport, it's stuffed full of things that maybe we no longer need, we didn't really need to bring with us on the trip. They're falling out as we walk through the airport. So all of that unwanted tension is melting and falling off this right outer hip. Our palms up are helping us receive energy, and our palms down if we needed to feel a little more grounded. We're going to find 30 more seconds here, so start to really send that breath to the right outer hip as you inhale. Feel that right outer hip fill up, and then as you exhale, it deflates in because more and more of those unwanted items are being released. We'll take one big deep breath here and just take a little longer exhale and let everything melt away from this right outer hip. We're going to bend this right knee in. We're going to take and release it to the floor. Take our left foot off and set it on the floor, and we may have to shift our block over a little toward the right side. So we're going to take the right sole of our foot, place it on our block, bring this left knee in toward our chest, and then open the knee to the outside. Place the left ankle below the right knee, and our foot isn't like a wet noodle, but we don't have to find the extreme flexing that we normally keep it active. We want this left leg to be soft. We want to feel the stretch by just slightly pulling that left knee back toward our right knee. We feel our entire back body connected, all the way from our head resting heavy. Our shoulders are fallen open. We feel the points of our shoulder blades. And we may feel more vertebra now resting into our mat. The curve in our lumbar spine may have softened. We feel our sacrum. We feel the connection with that right foot into our block. And now, releasing those items that are no longer needed from our left outer hip. Just breathing deeply here. Our eyes are soft. Our tongue is away from the roof of our mouth. And our face is completely relaxed. We feel that rhythm of our breath slowing and deepening. We're sending each and every inhale to that left outer hip. And then each and every exhale softens it. We feel more tension drip away. Maybe at some point you feel it drain away. You may overcome a barrier. Resting our back body heavy in the mat now. Our mind is focused inward. Our body and our muscles are softening with each and every breath. We're just going to take 2 more deep breaths here. Gently bring that left knee back toward or in line with the right, just a little more. And we're going to release this left leg, bring both of our knees into our chest. We're going to take our hands, open our knees wider than our hips, and take the soles of our feet to the sky. We're going to reach for the inside, the outside, peace fingers on the big toes. Bring our tailbone back down to the mat and just gently rock side to side. We'll feel an inner thigh stretch, a release in our outer hips, massage in our low back, our kidneys, our intestines. We'll release that bind. We'll take our hands back on the outside of our knees, and we're going to roll to the opposite side. Wherever we were right at the beginning to grab our block, roll onto the other side. Find your fetal pose. Stack those knees. Find neutral in a spine. And then we're going to use our top arm to just push ourselves up to that seated. We're going to find 1 or 2 of our pillows, or even our blanket or towel, depending on how much of flexion you want. We're going to find some lateral flexion. So we're going to, whatever prop we're using, our towel, blanket, or pillow, we're going to sit with our, we're going to open our right side first. So we're going to sit with our left hip just to the side. We're going to stack our knees. So our hips right up to the side. We're going to take our left arm and just slide it out. And we're going to take the left side and lay into our pillow, which will give us more. If you want a little more height, I can take my blanket or towel here and lay that right under my ribs, slide out with my knees stacked. I can take my block or whatever I had and just rest my head. So we're opening up the right side of our ribs. We can keep these legs stacked, knees stacked, or we can extend our left leg and then our right on top. We're going to find this left palm face up. And then if we'd like, we can extend our right arm past the right ear and reach for the left hand. Or you can rest your head into your bicep and place your block in between your hands. Now we're breathing into our right side body here in this lateral flexion. So we're inhaling and exhaling. So right at our heart, we may find if we added that little extra support, we have a little more, we kind of start to spill down toward our head, and we find this little lift here, and then our hips slightly down our prop. Or maybe if you didn't have that little extra lift, maybe it's just an opening. If you're having problems balancing here on your left side, you can take this right foot and just stack it in front and then slightly kick your left foot back so it's almost like a crisscrossing. Left leg back, right leg forward. And we're breathing into our right intercostal muscles. This helps us release tension in our waist. We sit or stand, so we sink into our waist. This is helping us reach out of the waist. We're breathing deeply here. Again, if it's too much stretch in your shoulders to reach both arms forward, you can always prop with this right hand. Remember, our restorative practice is about finding the version of the pose that helps us release and let go of tension, not create more. So what may be right for one creates more tension. So I'm just your guide. I wish I was there with you in your living rooms or your bedroom or your basement to tuck a bolster or a block or a blanket. But for one more week, finding ourselves reaching our ultimate comfort and supporting ourselves. So breathing deeply into this right side. We're halfway there. So opening up the right side stimulates our liver function. It's opening up our heart laterally. And if you're completely upright on your side, even though it may feel restful, you're activating muscles in your front and back body. We're opening up and strengthening our respiratory muscles from all sides. If our arms are extended, both of our arms extended over our head, try to soften your shoulders down your back. They may start to creep up and add a little tension. So just mentally take a note. Each and every restorative pose, we should be able to breathe with ease. We find a little constriction right now on our left side, but we should feel that breath fill up our back, our front, and our right side. We feel that expansion as we inhale and the constriction everything coming back into our body as we exhale. Continue breathing deeply. We're going to find ourselves here just for 30 more seconds. At any point, if you had that block between your hands, you can always release it and find the palms coming together. We keep that right bicep extending past the right ear. Shoulders are stacked. We're going to take this last deep breath. Take a big, deep inhale and feel those right intercostal muscles expand out, open up. And then as you exhale, feeling them coming and knitting back together. If we have our legs straight, we'll just bend one knee at a time, starting with the left, then our right. We'll slide that right hand back in to soften our shoulders, and we find ourselves here in fetal pose for a moment. We're going to take our left hand or our right hand, push ourselves up, and we're going to move our props to the other side. So we're going to find ourselves opening up now on our left. So I'm taking my pillow right at my right hip. I'm going to take my towel on top. I'm going to stack my knees off in front of me, reaching with my right hand long, coming down. And if I've added this little extra, remember it's going right under or to the side of my heart. You can find your right palm face up. You can release the right ear into the bicep, or you can take and release it into your block. If you have the knees stacked, you want to extend the left leg, then your right. You can stack them, or that left leg can come in front, the right leg can slide back toward the back edge of your mat to balance you up on your right side. You can keep this left hand propping you up, or you can extend it, the palm facing down. Maybe you take your block in between your palms. It depends on how open your shoulders are. And we're just letting that left bicep extend past our left ear, or our left bicep past our left ear. Breathing deeply. Now we're opening up on our left side. Inhaling and exhaling, feeling those left ribs expand open as you inhale, and then feeling them knit back together as you exhale. Finding ourselves opening here on our left side, it helps us stimulate our stomach and spleen. We're opening our heart now from the other side. Inhaling and exhaling. We find our left shoulder stacked over our right. We're balancing ourselves on that left hip. We're crisscrossing those feet. Again, finding the version of the supported lateral flexion to whatever we need in the present moment. If we did the same poses tomorrow evening, it'd be slightly different. So we're breathing now into the left ribs, left hip, softening the shoulders down our back. You have both arms extended overhead. You may feel a stretch in your shoulders. That's why they may creep up over time. So you just have to make a mental check-in every so often. Am I releasing all the tension in each and every area of my body? You may want to create a little stretch in some of our poses, but we don't want to build up tension. So inhaling and exhaling. We're just past halfway here in our pose. Actually finding ourselves just one more minute. Breathing into the left side body. So take a big deep inhale, filling fully up through your front, back, and left side. And then feel everything compress back into your body. We're going to slowly make our way out. Slide this left hand back. We'll slide up the right knee, then the left. And just take a moment here in our fetal pose. We're going to take our left hand. We're going to push ourselves up. And we're going to make our way into a bigger pose, hero's pose. So we have stretched out our legs. So that's when I have these two pillows, and I'm going to take my block and place it under the side. So I'm going to find myself reclining. You can take your towel or your blanket if it's too much flexion to bend at your knees. So we're going to find ourselves with our feet at the back of our pillows. Our knees are just hip distance apart, and we're going to release the shoelace part of our feet down on the mat. And then we're going to bring our glutes down toward our heels. This is where if we can't find that much flexion in the back of our knees, we can take it directly behind our knees, take our towel here at our heels, or we can also sit on our block. And remember, the reclined is going to have a big deep stretch here in our quads. So if we're not ready to recline, that's okay. So I have to slightly slide my feet under my pillows, and we're going to ease our way back. So I'm just going to walk my hands up, and I'm going to release back into my reclined pillow. So you got to notice my knees are coming off. I need to take out my towel, and I need to slide myself back a little further under my pillows. So I'm going to walk my hands back, and actually I'm going to take my towel with me and put it under my neck. And I'm going to find myself stretched back here in my reclined hero. You can also take, if you're near a wall, your pillows and prop them if you can't recline as far back. I didn't say a wall today, but if you can't recline as far back, You can find yourself up against the wall. And then that will help you ease back and stretch, and your head will slightly be up. But you want to find, it's a big deep stretch here for our quads. We're compressing the backs of our legs. We're only going to be here actually another 2 minutes. We're not taking as long of a hold because it's a pretty deep stretch and we're here in our restorative practice, but we just want to find a little stretch and compression in the compression in our knees, the opening in our front body, our abdominals, our heart, our chest. I didn't bring my towel with me, so my head is slightly spilling over. You gotta find whatever's comfortable for you. Inhaling and exhaling. So recline hero enhances flexibility in our hips and our quads. This actually helps us reduce fatigue. This pose tends to start to get, as we feel the sensation, gets our mind active, starts to tingle throughout those muscle fibers. This also activates our kidney and our liver functions. It helps us filter and remove toxins from our body. So finding ourselves just another 30 seconds here. Inhaling and exhaling. Filling up fully in our front body. We'll take one last big deep breath. Filling and expanding entirely through our front body, and then exhaling slowly and releasing everything. Like me, my head is tilted back, so I'm going to bring my chin to my chest before I start to make my way up. I'm going to take my hands at my sides, push myself up, and I'm just going to go right forward into a child's pose. So round through my spine. Let my head come forward, my shoulders. I'm finding a front body compression. Now just inhaling and exhaling to my back body. I'm going to slowly walk my hands back up. I'm going to sweep my feet out of the way. And I'm just going to extend them long. So I flexed my feet. I'm sitting down with both of my sits bones tall up on my sits bones. So you may find yourself rounded back, tilted forward. Roll your shoulder blades down and sit right on top of those sits bones. We're just going to inhale our arms overhead and just reach forward here. Finding a forward fold helps us quiet our mind, calm the chatter, inhaling and exhaling. This provides us with that full body release of tension. We're going to slowly walk ourselves up. And I'm going to move my props out of the way, and I'm going to take one of my pillows on the left side, one on the right, because we're going to take a spinal twist each way. And you can use a blanket, a towel. I'm going to bend my knees and just make my way down on my back. I'll bring my knees into my chest. One last time, just gently rock side to side. I'm going to extend my left leg long, interlace my fingers just below the right knee. Bring my right knee into my chest. I'm going to take my left hand on the outside of my right knee, extend my right arm out to the side, and I'm going to bring my right knee across my body, keeping my right shoulder blade down on the mat. And I'm finding my pillow and releasing my right knee. If you need to stack anything else, you can take your 2 pillows, you can add your block in, your towel. My palms are facing down. And if I want to add that upper twist in my upper thoracic and cervical, I start to tilt my head over toward my right fingertips. And I'm just breathing deeply here as I unwind. You can always keep your head neutral, looking up toward the ceiling. And just letting your eyelids rest heavy. We're feeling a twist in our right side body here. I feel both my shoulder blades down on the mat. Finding a spinal twist helps us unravel, wring out, release. My breath is still an even flow. Soft, deep inhale and slow release of my exhale. Each and every time I inhale, the breath goes into my right side, and each and every time I exhale, my right shoulder releases and I find a little more twist through my spine. We have 30 more seconds. Each and every breath is like wringing out a rag. A few more drips come and fall from the rag. We're going to slowly start to unwind by bringing this right knee back up to neutral, coming onto our back. We'll bring our left knee in. We'll find that gentle rock side to side. We'll interlace our fingers the opposite way, extend this right leg long just for a moment. Bring the left knee into our chest, finding a little compression in our left hip. We're going to take our left hand, extend it out to the side, and take our right on the outside of the left knee. Guide the left knee across to our right side. Find our support, keeping that left shoulder blade down on the mat. And you can always keep this right hand on the outside of the knee just for a little weight, or you can release it to the floor. It's up to you. This sometimes gives it the connection that it can release. Breathing into our left side now, wringing out that rag. You'll notice at the beginning, more tension releases with each and every exhale. And then as it all is draining and being wrung out, there just drips of tension as we make our way toward the end of this pose. Again, our gaze can be toward the ceiling or sky, or it can start to go toward those left fingertips. The rhythm of our breath has changed from the beginning of our practice. So just take notice. How has it changed? Each and every breath, more and more release comes into the left waist, our thoracic and lumbar spine. Our left knee softens into our prop, and our left shoulder is heavier and heavier into the mat. We feel that left IT band released and soft. Our left hip is open. We're going to find ourselves here 30 more seconds. We're going to use this next inhale to really fill up through the left side body. And then as you exhale, feel the left knee soften into your props. We're going to bring our head back to neutral, start to unwind. We'll bring our left knee up, and then we'll bring our right knee into our chest. We're going to gently rock side to side. We're going to release those feet down to the floor, and we're going to extend one leg at a time. Right, then left. Extend our arms above our head. So take a big, deep inhale, and now just exhale everything out through your mouth. One more time. A big, deep inhale from our evening stretch. Reach those fingertips, point those toes, and exhale everything through your mouth. We're going to make our way into our final pose, our corpse pose. So take our feet as wide as our mat, our hands, our arms open wide at our side, palms up to receive energy, palms down to find grounding. And now we breathe with ease, without effort. We're going to soften that space between our brow. We're going to feel that tension drip down toward our temples and then roll past our earlobes onto the mat. We slightly part our teeth and bring our tongue away from the roof of our mouth and unclench our jaw. We feel our shoulders sink away from our ears and fall deeper open into the mat. We feel more of our vertebrae resting heavy. The curvature of our spine has relaxed. Our heart and chest is open. Our abdominal muscles are soft. And we feel an openness in our outer hips. We feel our sacrum, our pelvis resting heavy and anchoring us. Our arms and legs lay effortless at our sides. Our feet have fallen open, and our fingertips have slightly curled. As we take this big inhale, just noticing the stillness in our mind. As you exhale, notice the softness in our muscles. As we inhale and exhale, we feel that sense of tranquility hovering above and below us. We found openness and release throughout our practice. So just rest heavy for a few more minutes in your mat. Let the lullaby rhythm of your breath gently sway your body up and down. And feel the tranquility throughout. You can always stay in your final relaxation, your Shavasana, but if you're ready to come out, gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your wrists and ankles. Maybe reverse those circles. Bringing one knee at a time into our chest. And find any balance you need with your knees going to either side. And bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. So once you meet me in a comfortable seat, we'll inhale our arms high to the sky. Exhale our hands down to our heart center. One more time, just inhale, reaching high to the sky, and exhale those hands into our heart center. Connect those thumbs at our heart. I'd like to offer you my gratitude for allowing me to join you in your restorative practice. I wish you a week filled with tranquility and happiness.